I think this will be our last video because it's already 2:37 on 10/19/25. Though I do have to do a Sunday study also. It is now early Sunday morning. I'm doing the Saturday Bible study, but we're going to get into the potential look of them pulling off the event while he would be in Mar-a-Lago. And there is one more thing I need to prep for. Let's look up Mar-a-Lago real quick. Hang on. By the way, if you're on the conspiracy channels, Trey Stokes Daily Bible Studies is where my Bible studies are, and always click playlist and start a playlist from the beginning. We're on our 18th Daniel study. The end time studies are now up front, as it was also in my Revelation 17th study. Before then, they were always at the back of the studies, as it's always an end times and then a New Testament study, as it used to be New Testament, then end times. But people are, I think, now are more interested in the end times. Nobody ever gave me an opinion either way. But let's get into this breakdown of Mar-a-Lago began, and this is where he will be if anything does go down. They've scripted golf course type scenarios already for us. They floated the video. Um, Mar-a-Lago is 68, 190. Um, is that how Barack Obama spells his name? It comes to July? That would be very interesting. Barack Obama, Barack. Bar. Okay. Wow. Very interesting. The 408 is one of the numbers, as it is the date of that total solar eclipse that made the final X across America. Barron comes to Mar-a-Lago. His son's name, Barron Trump. It's Barr, and it does come to Barron. SpaceX. Very interesting. Nothing much in the Jewish Hebrew that I pick up scrolling quickly. But okay. So the Bullet building, in the city of London, the one that's shaped like a bullet, the U2 song Bullet in the Blue Sky. You remember how they caught that bullet in the blue sky with a photo and literally circled it and said, "Here's the bullet," after it clipped his ear. Well, the bullet building to the ear clipping day is 7,381 days. There's your 38 for death and 38 for murder, coded right there. Piece of cake. And again, we run the bullet building to today. You do get 7, 8, 44. 44 does rep the book of Revelations, the 404 verses. Mar-a-Lago established 12/23/1980. It's 2, 3, 3, 8 weeks, so 38's established in the weeks. It's 16371 days, and it will be 16373 days on the rising. Well, it's the exact reversal with 73 days left in the year today and 71 days left in the year on the rising day. Remember, his number begins with 163. His number is 163464. That's what you get when you multiply 6 times 14 times 1946. I want to now move to my bigger prep. I wanted to look at the Gamecocks because they do come out to that song of 2001: A Space Odyssey and, see the previous three or two videos where we um, have really been over this date. But remember, the Gator game was had this same 267 score. Miami had 26, Florida had 7. And see, Steve Spurrier coached at Florida and at South Carolina. My two favorite teams growing up was Florida, Oklahoma, and of course Miami also. We had Gators, Bloodhounds that went there. So I became a big fan. But yeah, this that's Antichrist 267 right there. The Gamecock represents the phoenix rising from the ashes. They got their nice little red and black colors for Satan and all that good fun stuff. So that's a big tell that they've thrown that out there. What was the date of the Florida Miami game this year? So the Florida Miami game, eh? There it is, 26-7. It was on September 20th. So if it was on September, there it is, 726 right there. So there it is coded again, Antichrist, 726. 726. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Sure enough did. And it is 27, it's 267 days left in the year on that total solar eclipse that made the X across America on April 8th. So let's jump from September 20th to today. "29 days." Okay, 696 hours. Nothing big, just making sure it wasn't a 37 progression. So they run out to the 2001: A Space Odyssey song. It's 33 minutes long. That's their big number. Released on November 27th, 1896. It's also Sprach Zarathustra. That's actually the name of it. So the name being heavily coded, we might as well take a look at that in the gematria. You don't really get much there, do we? 2032. You do get October 26th. That is going to be a very high watch day. That's the release date of Donnie Darko. It was also premiere dates of Skyfall or release dates of Skyfall, depending on where at. It was not the USA release date of Skyfall and Spectre, but Skyfall and Spectre both had those third and fourth James Bond movies, both had that 26 date in there. 3-4 is murder code in one of the four base ciphers. So when we get to October 26th, that would be next Sunday. That'll be a very high watch day. Extremely. Especially now knowing this, that it's spelled out perfectly, October 26th. That's a really big deal. Mm-mm-mm-mm. All right, when you run that date to the rising day of 1021, it is 47079. So you do have that 47, his number. Let's run it to the 26th since it spells it out. 47,084. The hours begin with 113. Look at the weeks. 6, 726. 726 is Antichrist in the English gematria, which is 6 times English ordinal or simple gematria. Wow, that's a big day, isn't it? 1026 is becoming very big, isn't it? So when you run Strange Angel, and remember the Gateway Arch opened on 1028. Bill Gates' birthday is 1028. That would be the rising day, 1028, on a Tuesday. Till Tuesday, Donnie Darko. So Strange Angel, though, to the rising day. If we end up having our event today on Sunday, it's 2686 days. You got your 68 with your 86. 686 or 868 represents death and rising. The film The Hours to today, it has your James Bond card tag 216, which is also 6 times 6 times 6 right there in the hours. So the film The Hours, if you look at the hours to today, it's 200,016 hours. Drop the zeros, drop the 3 zeros in the middle, and it's just 216 coded. That's a very, very, very big deal. But we might as well look at the 26 now. You have 2184 in the hours. I tell you what, we're going to come back to this 26. We're going to look at it. So Mr. Big in Israel. Do you know that Israel was made a nation state on May 14th, 1948, exactly 700 days, 7 all over the book of Revelation, the number for cleansing. Church is repped by 7 because church is about to go through its cleansing, and then the earth is cleansed with 7 trumpets, 7 bowls, or 7 trumpets, 7 vials, the judgments, the wrath of God, and so forth. So Trump is that perfect 700 days old. He's 700 days old when Israel is declared a nation state. That perfect 700 even. If you run Trump to today, he is a palindrome. He is 28982 days old, like we've been over. But so is Israel. It's 28282 days old. Same number backwards and forwards. Israel is also 404 in the weeks and will be for quite some time because right now at 4040 weeks. So it's going to take like 60 something days to get out of that. So if we do look at the 26th from Israel, it'll be 4041 weeks. And look at that. 28,289. Remember 289, the 289th prime number, which Trump is at 289, 82 days old today. Israel will be 282, 89 days next Sunday. Kind of a reversal of that 280. Now, remember the 289th prime number is 1879, which that's murder all the way through. 79 is murder in simple gematria. 187 is 11 times 17. It is murder code in the entertainment world and the state of California. And the 187th prime number is 1117. For Zechariah 1117, the right eye moon Bible verse. And we now move towards, if you run Israel to the rising day of 1028, 404 1 week and 4 days. So 4,041 weeks. So you have your 404. I just want to make sure 357 wasn't anywhere in there. Okay. So I'm always looking for the combination of 404 and 357 or a 761 combination. That's a big deal, though, man. Wow, that's a really big deal. That's a really big deal for next week, for next Sunday. We'll cover next Sunday in a bit. Promise. All right, I'm going in the wrong direction. I just want to make sure I've cleared everything up and everything is done. Okay. So if we look at Trump next week on the 26th, he's 289.89. And remember, 89 is in his name, Donald Trump and Donald J. Trump in the Jewish Hebrew gematria, which also gives us his name in the 666. Of course, it's the most biblical. It's the Jewish Hebrew gematria. 589 is Donald Trump. 1189 is Donald J. Trump. And there's your double 89s right there. I'm telling you, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. It's a big deal for next week. Very big deal. We've already told you about the 289. 289th prime number is 1879. Well, we do have the 386 for him on that day. And remember, in my dad's old Bible, I showed you on my Bibles on various YouTube platforms. If you want it, just ask for it. That I use my cell phone to prove that Zechariah 11:17 Bible verse in my dad's old King James Bible that I use to mark the columns that we use to do the Bible studies, that it's on page 1386. Zechariah 11:17 is. 138 is his name in symbol gematria. 86 means to eliminate. 1386. That's what page it's on. There's your 386 right there with his number times that day. Of course, there's an 89 also. This is a very big deal. Very big deal for next week. The Gators have an open date. They're allegedly going to fire the coach if they appoint Steve Spurrier or Urban Meyer as interim. You've got yourself a deal. You've already got yourself a deal that you've 86th the seventh king of Mystery Babylon as a ritual at the University of Florida. They are Devil's Advocate University, as we've pointed out many times. That's where they came and got the Devil's Advocate Keanu Reeves character in the movie. They plucked him out of Gainesville, Florida, Alachua County, and they said "Go Gators" at the beginning of the movie, or early on in the movie, while doing shots, celebrating. So that's a big deal. I want to look at another personal cipher. Somebody I know, born 1117. They will be 24075 days old. All right. Anyway, What else can I check on this 26th? Again, that is the release date of Donnie Darko. So Trump and I's midpoint happens to be on Christmas Day, 1953. And running it to this 86ing day, it is 26 to 38 days. 62, remember Revelation is 602. Sunday, Bloody Sunday. We'll call it a day with this. Sunday, Bloody Sunday, U2. That's all we need to look at. March 21st, 1983. March 21st, 1983. 15560. Interesting that the weeks are 2 weeks and 6 days. That's fascinating. If you look at my number, which is 7 times 6 times 1961, my number is 82362. When you divide that by 37, you do get your 2226. And Sunday, Bloody Sunday does have that coded in the weeks and the days. They're a palindrome with the months and the days, 5115, 511 months, 5 days. On the rising day, it's 15,562. You do have your 62 coded. Remember the Gateway Arch in St. Louis opened on 10/28? All these archways, like the arch that bears his name, Triumph means Trump, Trump means triumph. The Arc de Triomphe, or the Arch of Triumph in France. All these archways represent his birthing, spiritual birthing canal. We're more than sure they're all on ley lines that connects to certain place. Well, probably the death spot where they'll stage the death to this clone or body double. If it's for everybody to witness, it'll be a clone. If it's just video footage, it'll be AI generated. AI can make anything look perfectly human and real. It's good Ghost in the Machine. It's way better, way more than what they pretend it is right now. So, yeah, it's a big deal, huh? I think so. I think the 8675309 was 85. And it does bear his um oh, that's the Till Tuesday song, isn't it? Yeah, Till Tuesday. Song Till Tuesday. That would be The Rising Day and Donnie Darko, voices Carey. Whoops. Voices Carey, Till Tuesday. There we go. March 28th, 85. Yeah, they are. To the Rising Day. To the 86ing day, they're 148. Remember his name in simple gematria with the middle initial is 148. Donald J. Trump comes to 148. On the rising day, it'll be 217 in the weeks. That's kind of perfect. It'll be 148 and 24 days on the rising. This is a very big deal. I am really, 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 really liking this 10/26 date. Just to show you that it was a date in Spectre. James Bond Spectre, Wikipedia. October 26th, United Kingdom release date. The United States was November 6th. That's 11/6 coded. Backwards, upside down, 9/11. Notice it's 148 in the minutes, which is his name in simple gematria, with the middle initial J. Then we go to Donnie Darko, release date October 26th. There it is right there, October 26, 2001. Then we'll go to James Bond, Skyfall, Wikipedia. And there it is, United Kingdom release date, October 26th. 143 minutes. I tell you what, I really like this date of the 26th. I've got one personal cipher I want to look at for that date. $22,773. Okay. The biggest cipher that there is that I've always told you is that total solar in 2001. It is 88.93 in the days. You do have your 88 at least, and your 89. If you run it from 9/11, you do have your 11/7 coded on the rising day. It's 11/17 on the rising day. 11 months, 17 days. If we were to run the Dark Knight, $6,309. Watch what it does on the rising day. 6,311. Here's your 311. We remember 311, don't we, in 2020? And how it's opposite 9/11 on a circular calendar, 6 months apart. And how 11/3, remember it's CKKC code 311-11/3. One World Trade Tower opens on 11/3. And 311 being opposite 9/11. 9/11 was really all about Revelation 11:7, because September was once the seventh month. And most countries write the date backwards from us. We've explained that many times. So this is, now if we run the rising day, or excuse me, the Dark Knight Rises to this rising day of 10/28, it's 48 days. 48 is his name. It's in the one of the four base ciphers. I believe it's in reduction. It's 13 years, 3 months, 8 days. Revelation 13:3 code, which where it does state deadly wound, but did live. It's the first time deadly wound is mentioned. Deadly wound and then living is mentioned in Revelation 13:3, 13:12, and 13:14. This is a big deal. It's a very big deal. You have a UFC fight next week. I think UFC 321. UFC 321. Yeah. Heavyweight champ. It's taking place in Abu Dhabi, of course. So it's the 25th. So Eve is coded into that. Eve in simple gematria is 5225, as E is the fifth letter, V is the 22nd letter. So it's October 252025. So you have 5225 coded. And remember, it's all about Eve. From the movie All About Eve. Everything in their world is about Eve. They have their satanic version, as the church represents, Eve represents the church. In the Lord's version, theirs is Mother Nature, the mother goddess, Gaia, or Satan shapeshifting into the female goddess. It is a big deal. It's a big deal. So you got your UFC on the eve to sort of, yeah, bring us into it. That's the ritual. UFC 321. And it's a heavyweight fight between England and France. The English Tom Aspinall and the French Cyril Gane. That's a big deal. It's a big deal. Very big deal. Hmm. Yep. It's a very big deal. That's a personal cipher there with a 322 code. When we look at the total solar of last year, 566 and then 568. So you have your 66 book of the Bible coded, and you have 68, which is his name in the same cipher that Antichrist also comes to, 68. Reverse reduction. Very big deals. You look at the Lily cipher, it's 920. 920 represents, what is it, marriage? Represents wife. Wife. 920. The bride of Christ. So Lily representing the bride, when she sits inside that solar eclipse, she is the solar eclipse on 4/20/2023. And she's all dressed in white. She is repping wife. Also, assuming he does go down on this day of 10/26. It did deliver. Remember, the apple rolled across the floor and then burst into the lotus, the flower full moon. And it should give us something to 10/28 on the rising day. 907 days. So other than the 97th verse, it doesn't really, nothing really pops there. Sorry. I was expecting something bigger and better. What else? So let's go ahead and run everything. Let's run the rising to the next total solar on 8/12 that takes place on the same day Sirius the dog star rises. It's a future cipher. And on the rising day, there it is, 288. 288. Now let's go and start looking at 8/21 of 2017. Let's go ahead and look at the eclipse that made the X across America. And if you run the first total solar that made the first X across America of 8/21/2017, you get 2,988 on the 80/16 day. Check. And the midpoint total solar in December 14th, the day the first therapy was given. If you run that to 10/26, it's 1,777 days. Now that was a total solar eclipse on the exact midpoint day of the two total solars that made the X across America. Biden got his electorals. And it was the first day they administered the therapy. This is absolutely fascinating. Now let's start look. Then there's the everything that went down in 2022. Everything that went down in 2022. I want to start off with 311. My crazy anomaly. Nothing really popped there for me. All right, let's keep looking. There was the May 16th total solar. There was the November 8th total solar. You do have murder code there, 1083. And the midpoint of two total solar, two total lunars that we're looking at. And it was the day series of Dog Star Rose on 8/12. So you do have your rising code on the rising day. 1173 days. Revelation 11:7 coded. That's perfect. 3 years, 2 months, 16 days. 216 is coded 6 times 6 times 6, James Bond's car tag, and it's 38 months. Then there was that total solar in 2021. On December 4th. And it's really absolutely perfect. 1422. Acts 14:22. We all through much tribulation entered the kingdom. 14:22 is coded. 1,422. It'll be 1,424 on the rising day. I have got to hit that. Yes. Okay. Just wanted to make sure. The other event was from April 26th. There's 79 for murder. Sorry, these are some personal ciphers I've been over with y'all before. I'm too lazy to even talk about them. But everything's hitting and everything is popping. Sure is. And then they did release Batman. So there's your Revelation 13:3 code for Batman. 1,332 days. And then there was Top Gun Maverick. That would definitely be on the rising day. I don't know if we looked at The Dark Knight Rises to the rising day. Yeah, it was 48:48. But then Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, which is 9/11, Here We Go Again. Decent. Um, Let me pause and see if I can think of anything else. Hang on. When you run the clocks against each other, you do get your 3:13 p.m. matching 4:04 p.m. Book of Revelation matching Zapruder film 3:13. On the spreadsheet, it's also level 288 or column or row, yeah, column row 288. That's a big deal. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Yeah, it is. It's very interesting. That's going to be a very interesting date. Very interesting date. Yes, indeed. All right. Let's continue now with the Bible studies. Let me make sure they are prepped and ready to go. Let me check volume. I forgot to explain also the Donnie Darko Halloween party, um, or the Halloween sign began with October 26th and it ran through the 30th. October Halloween Festival, Donnie Darko, October 26th through the 30th. While no general Halloween festival named after the movie Donnie Darko is scheduled for October, the film's intertwined time frame. Yes. So here it says the fictional, uh, and then it names the town or the high school or the middle school, excuse me. Halloween Carnival, which runs from October 26th through the 30th. So there it is. Wow. There it is. I'm sure there's a sign that'll be up. There it is right there. Yep. We'll save that. That'll be our thumbnail. Why not? Why not? All right. I don't think I'm going to put the Bible study on this. I think I'm just going to close out. Yeah, I'm just going to close it out. All right. Love you guys.